Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 5 and we are going to explain about the definition of inflection. But before that, let me introduce our group members. The first speaker is me Syahruni. The second is Larasati. The third is Yeni Nur Octavia. The fourth is Nurul Isania. The fifth is Nurul Cahyani. The sixth is Mafira Aulia. And the last is Firadian Utari. So, what is inflection? There are four things that explain what inflection is. First, inflection is the process of adding an affix to a word or changing it in some other ways according to the rules of the grammar of a language.
In other words, it involves the formation of grammatical forms of a single lexeme: present, past, singular, plural, masculine, feminine, and so on.
The use of these grammatical forms is really determined by sentence structure. It does not change the core lexical meaning, and then it is determined by syntax.
Realization of morphosyntactic features. 1. Exponent. Simple exponent. One-to-one relationship between form and meaning as one. Morpheme. Realize 1. Morphosyntactic features. Cumulative exponent. It refers to the occurrence of more than one morphosyntactic feature mapping onto a single form. Synthetic exponent. A single morphological feature is realized simultaneously on more than one form on context-free and context-sensitive inflection. Context-free refers to a single directional mapping between a morphological feature and a particular phonological string.
Next is phonological realization of the feature. Past feature. A. Ablaut or particle suppression. The example is ran, sat, won, drank. B. Suppletion or total suppletion. The example is was, went. C. Zero suppletion. The example is had, pat. D. T. The example is send, lent. E. D. The example is help.
My name is Yeni Nur Octavia and I will continue the presentation about realization of morphosyntactic features. Realization of morphosyntactic feature. 2. Inherent versus assigned inflection. Morphosyntactic properties, which are neither agreement properties nor governor properties, are said not to be inherent. Anderson, 1985, A172. From a morphological perspective, inherent properties are of two types. First, inherent properties may be associated with some but not all words in a lexeme's paradigm. Second, a property may be invariably associated with the words in a lexeme's paradigm. An example of assigned inflection is case. The use of different forms of nouns or pronouns in order to show whether they are subject or object of a clause or whether they are possessive. Example, I or me, who or whom, marry or marries. 3. Government versus concord. Government is more or less what it sounds like. One word dictates the form of another. First, verbs and nouns or prepositions and nouns relationship. Concord or agreement occurs when one element in a sentence takes on the morphosyntactic feature of another's element.
So, hello everyone, my name is Nurul Isania. So today I will explain about inflection categories. In inflection categories, there's a nominal categories, a number, and a gender. Number is the way in which difference between singular and plural are shown. A grammatical distinction which determines whether a noun, verb, adjective, and etc. in a language are singular and plural. So the next is a gender. The gender is the grammatical differences between masculine and feminine words, such as he and she. So the next material will be explained with the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nurul Cahyani. Here I will explain about case. Case, um, case, a grammatical category that show the function of noun or noun phrase in a sentence. The form of a noun or noun phrase changes to show the different functions or cases. 1. Nominative. The form of a noun or noun phrase which usually shows that the noun or noun phrase can function as the subject of a sentence. 2. Accusative. The form of a noun or noun phrase which usually show that the noun or noun phrase functions as the direct object of the verb in the sentence. 3. Ergative. A verb which can be used either transitively to focus on the person who performs an action, or intransitively to focus on the thing affected by the action. 4. Genitive. The possessive form of a noun. 5. Dative. The noun or noun phrase which refers to the person or animal affected by the state or action of the verb is in the dative case. 6. Locative. The noun or noun phrase which refers to the location of the action of the verb is in the locative case.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Makfira Aulia from Group 5. I will explain material about nominal categories and verbal categories. 1. Nominal category. Universally, there are only 3 persons in all spoken language. Nouns are always third person, first and second person forms are always pronoun. The major difference among languages lies on the first person plural. 2. Verbal category. A. Tense. Tense is a category of morphosynthetic properties distinguished infinite verbs, temporal reference. In Latin, for instance, verbs inflect for 3 tense, past, present, and future. The relationship between the form of the verb and the time of the actional state it describes. B. Aspect. Aspect is category of morphosynthetic properties distinguishing the variations in which an event can be situated at a particular time interval. A grammatical category which deals with how the event described by a verb is viewed, such as whether it is in progress, habitual, repeated, momentary, and so on. It may be indicated by prefixes, suffixes, or other changes to the verb, or by auxiliary verbs, as in English. English has 2 aspects, progressive and perfect.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Viraden Utari. I will present the mood and voice material. A category of morphosynthetic properties which distinguish the ways in which a proposition may relate to actually or in the speaker mind. It reflects a speaker commitment to proposition. Richard et al. State mood is a set of contracts which are often so by them form of the verb and which express the speaker or right attitude to what is said or written. The first, indicative, the form of the verb as in declarative or question. The second, imperative, the form of the verb as in imperative sentence or no sentence as. 3. Subjunctive, the form of the verb as to express uncertainty, wishes, desires. In contrast to the indeclarative mode, the subjunctive usually refers to non-factual or hypothetical situation. The voice, it has to do with the role of subject as actor, agent, or patient. The ways in which a language expresses the relationship between a verb and the noun phrases which are associated with it. Two sentences can differ in voice and have the same basic meaning.
The last is inventory of inflectional morphology types. The first is affixation and stem affixation. The second is apophony, ablaut, and umlaut. The third is root and pattern morphology. The fourth is suppletion, which is full and partial suppletion. The fifth is reduplication.